when you get a neutral response, or one of these like thank yous that doesn't really mean thank you, that's like a kind of like filler thank you, whatever. In general, the thing you should do is elaborate, because the topic you have is proven to be safe and okay, and so you get like a free bite at the apple. You get one more free try at it, right? It's like for any poker players out there, there's a thing called a free roll, right? So it's like if you and I have the same hand in poker, but I have a chance that with the cards coming I could make a flush and you don't have that chance, then I have a free roll, right? I can't possibly lose the hand. We're going to split it at worst, and then I'm free rolling to get lucky on the cards that may come, okay? Basically, when you get a neutral response, you're free rolling. That topic, you have one more chance at it as a free roll. Your chances of getting rejected continued are very, very low, so try something with it. And a lot of times the reason you get this neutral, non-committal answer is not because she doesn't like what you said, but because she doesn't know what to respond with yet. So when you just give her more to work with, oftentimes she will respond and give you something. You don't want answers that close the loop, right? You want answers that keep the tension and keep the loop open, and if anything, accentuate or exaggerate the tension. Right. So for example, if I say a line like you and I would not get along, right? Tension building line, pushing her away. And the girl says why? Right? I could try and explain and give some logical answer, but a lot of times what I do is I just do another tension building line. Right? You and I would not get along. Why? I don't know, you seem like the girl my mother warned me about. Right? And weirdly that seems like an answer. Whereas if you had said you seem like the girl my mother warned me about, she'd be like, why? They're like, I don't know, you have this good girl face but these bad girl mannerisms. Right? Just another tension line, right? So you literally could stack them, but weirdly enough, when you do the second one as an answer to the first one, it kind of, because it's given an answer, it's taken as an answer and it's fine. But you're just creating a lot of tension, right? And a lot of these lines, they're not being delivered because they literally make sense or because the literal meaning is so important. They're given this because of the emotional journey, the emotional roller coaster the girl's having when experiencing them, right? And that's the most important thing. Same as like when we talk about the false time constraint, right? I got to go in a minute doesn't really mean anything. And it's much better than I have to leave in 5 minutes because I'm meeting a friend, which would be a lot more tangible. It's more the feeling of this isn't a big deal, he's leaving soon, than the actual factual where you're going, right? The factual stuff is not what you're trying to get out of it. So generally, being a little more vague helps to keep the loop open. When you fully, explain to the point of like explain to satisfaction, the satisfaction is a closed loop. If you can, when the girl's talking a lot, try and find little ways to just tease a little bit here and there. Keep it more, I don't know, tensiony, fun, something like that, as opposed to it just being, because you're talking about this third-party topic that's not you and her for an extended period of time. It can kind of kill the tension and momentum a little bit if you don't find teases along the way. So try and be looking for some of them in there if you can. All right, so like she says, something about some character that's kind of shady, be like, oh, I can see how you'd like that character, right? Something like that, or reminds me of you, or something like that. Or if you've been giving her shit the whole time, and she says something about a character, but you know what? That was actually kind of deep. I take back 1/10 of the shit I've given you, right? Something like that. Yeah, do you guys know the difference between like a serious cold read and a light mini cold read? Okay, so like a deep serious cold read is like. Let's see. I'll do it to you. You're just looking at me. So you're, I can tell you're a sophisticated and ambitious individual. You care about what people think, but at the same time, you have like a deep sense of pride. And the person you care the most about in terms of approval is yourself, which doesn't mean you're not insecure, but I think you have an inner strength, right? So true. How many of the rest of you did I just describe there? Right, everybody, right?
You should look in astrology.
Yeah. So yeah, essentially. So, but it is a deeper cold read though. It's about a serious topic. It's about you, that kind of stuff, right? Whereas like a more silly mini cold read might be like, I don't know. So part of me thinks you're like the girl that I could party with all night, and part of me thinks you're the girl that's gonna roofie my drink, dance on the table, and get us both arrested. Right? That's just silly stuff, and it's not intended to be serious about you, right? Early on, you typically want to be hitting more of those kind of silly things because you don't have like kind of the depth and investment from her to engage in these deep, serious topics. Why do you think horoscopes work?
Yeah.
Right? People read their horoscope like they always think it's them, and there's 5 million people all reading it and thinking it's them when it's clearly not. It can't clearly be all of them, right? So if stuff's vague enough, and especially if stuff's vague enough, and also it's something someone wants to believe about themselves.
Right.
They'll tend to like make it true. That's a principle of cold reading, right? Yeah. So a lot of it's one continuous interaction, and the date is a part of it, right? By the time you're going on the date, premise should already be largely established. You do have to keep sprinkling it in to like remind that it's there, but you should be on a date mostly in the evaluation phase. So most of a date is the do we like each other? Like we're in this situation. That's whole idea is to decide if two people like each other.
Right.
So do I like you? The important thing there is that the frame is do I like you, not do you like me. That's the most important thing on date, is that you're the one evaluating her instead of the one primarily being evaluated by her.